Shalom lekulam, and welcome to our lesson number 25. We're still in the introduction to the book of Zohar, article The Donkey Driver. We're gonna be starting to read from item number 95. In the previous lesson, we talked about how the two temples are considered to be destroyed by the the stopping of the light of Parsuf Atik going to the lower realms, and how that is going to be restored in the future and forever, in which we're going to have this two temple being restored. Not only that, but also that is considered that these future temples that are going to be restored, some people call it the third temple, is something that is going to be manifested from the heaven, which is from the state or the level of Bina. And also that the whole point of all these that we're talking about, to summarize it, is having this level called Marhut achieve or attain the properties of Bina. And that's the whole point. And we do this by correcting our egoistic desires and attaining these desires of that are more altruistic. The desires are manifested through the Sephirah or Parsuf called Ima or Bina. Now, also mentioned in the previous lesson that this is also the whole purpose of us celebrating the feast of Israel, right? All these celebrations that we do according to the Hebraic tradition, Judaic tradition. A lot of people think, that in Kabbalah we are basically practicing Judaism and all kind of stuff. It's related to Judaism because Judaism has a lot of Kabbalah and it's based on Kabbalah. However, Judaism is a religion, it's not spirituality, so you can follow all these laws and everything, not achieve anything spiritual. But if you know the meaning of each of the actions that we do, each of the holidays that we celebrate, the whole process that we go through, all these laws, all these physical actions that we make in order to make a holiday so special, especially let's say like Shabbat, Passover, the counting of the Omer, Yom Kippur, Feast of Tabernacle, and things like that. It's all about the correction of our egoistic nature and ascending ourselves, our spiritual, attaining that spiritual connection with levels that are more altruistic, more spiritual, more lofty, right? And that's the whole point. But we can go through the whole motions of celebrating all these holidays. We can go through the whole motion of knowing Kabbalistically what do they mean. But if we don't practice within ourselves, what the Kabbalah says, about each of these holidays, it's like we're doing nothing. It's a body without a soul, and that's the whole point of studying Kabbalah every year, practicing this feast and all that. It's about getting to the point that we're not just a body emotion, but we're a body and a soul, creating a dynamic motion not only in the physical realm but also in the spiritual realm. That we know that by what we do and what our intention is, we can heal or destroy in the spiritual realm. That we can practice all this and learn about Kabbalah and all that, and all Kabbalah is going to tell you the same thing. The whole point of Kabbalah, the whole point of the Torah is about learning to love your neighbor as yourself. But if we attain only knowledge and we don't love ourselves and then our neighbors, we have no relationship with the Creator. That's the only way we can have a relationship with the Creator, right? You shall love God, right, with all your might, with all your being, but you shall also love your neighbor as yourself. And that's the whole thing. A lot of people say, so if that's the whole thing, what is so complicated? Well, we're talking about different aspects here of spirituality and all that. It should be simple. It's not simple. It's a whole process. It's like if you are learning about astrophysics, just knowing that there are planets out there is not enough. You gotta go and discover those planets and understand where they are, why they are, in the place that they are, how far from our perspective from Earth they are, in order to understand our position in the universe as well. So this is the same thing in Kabbalah. Kabbalah is, that's why it's considered a science, not only a wisdom but also a science, because we need to be the scientists, spiritual scientists, that need to experiment this by ourselves. A teacher can tell you and show you the way, but you need to walk the way. Nobody else can do it for you, okay? So that's the whole point of studying the Zohar. The Zohar shows the way. It takes us to that door, but only us can enter that door. Only us can attain the light that the Book of Splendor, the Book of Zohar, is trying to show us. Okay? And this article, the donkey driver is very long. As you can see, we have probably like 6 lessons already just in this article, because it goes in depth into why we are here and what happened after the destruction of the vessels, the Shavir HaKalim, how the word of correction is created, what is happening within that word of correction, and how this parzuf called Atik, which is a hidden parzuf, even though we don't know nothing about it, we know this parzuf by the actions of what is considered guf the Atik, or the guf or body of Atik. Okay, so let's start as always with our intention. So make sure you scan this letter from right to left, always thinking that the only reason you're studying the Zohar is not to obtain knowledge, but to obtain the wisdom and the understanding of who you are as a human being, what you need to do as a human being, what kind of corrections you need to do as a human race, and that you're receiving this light and revealing this light in order to share it with others. And that you want to transform your egoistic nature into an altruistic nature. So I'm going to give you a few seconds to scan these letters, and then we're going to read the prayer of the Ari before we study the Zohar. Ruler of the universe, and master of all masters, the Father of mercy and forgiveness, we thank you, our God, and the God of our fathers, for bowing down and kneeling, that you brought us closer to your Torah and your holy work, and you enable us to take part in the secrets of your holy Torah. How worthy are we that you grant us with such a big favor, which is the reason we plead before you that you will forgive and acquit all our sins, and that they should not bring separation between you and us. And may it be your will before you, our God and the God of our fathers, that you will awaken and prepare our hearts to love and revere you. And may you listen to our utterances and open our closed hearts to the wisdom, to the hidden studies of your Torah. And may your study be pleasant before your place of honor, as the aroma of sweet incense, and may you emanate to us light from the source of all souls to all of our being. And may the sparks of your holy servants, through which you revealed your wisdom to the world, shine. May their merit and the merit of their fathers and the merit of their Torah and holiness support us, so we shall not stumble through our study. And by their merit enlighten our eyes in our learning, as it is stated by the King David, the sweet singer of Israel. Open my eyes so that I will see wonders from your Torah. for the Lord gives wisdom. From his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. May the utterances of my mouth and the thoughts of my heart find favor before you, God, my strength and my Redeemer. So we are item 95 in the Book of Zohar, introduction of the Book of Zohar, or prologue for some of you. The article, the donkey driver. And the holy throne, which is Malchut, collapsed. As it is written, as I was in exile. This means that a certain grade, which is called I means Ani, right? Aleph Nun Yod, which is Malchut, was in exile. Where? By the river Kebar. This means by the river that had sprouted and flowed from Kebar. Kebar means already. But now, because all its water and fountains have dried up, there is no flow as before. Therefore it is written, and the river is parched and dried up. It is parched as the first temple, and dries up as the second temple. For this reason it is written, he slew 2 lion-hearted men of Moab. Moab is formed by the words me, means from an ab, from father. Me means, me, from, so it's mem, yod, and av, father, is aleph, bet, or father in heaven. And both temples are destroyed because of him, as all the light that shone upon Israel were now darkened. So this word that the Baal HaSulam mentioned in his commentary, and it's the word kursa. This word kursa, which means basically comes from kiseh. Kiseh means throne. So if you look, actually change it. The word for, let me see if I can get a highlighter. So the word here, this word here, right? That's the word basically that we're talking about. It comes from the word kiseh. Kiseh is like a chair, a throne. Or kisui. Kisui also means, cover. It signifies the combinations of the property of Malchut and Bina, which we talked in the lesson before this one, which leads to the light descending all the way to the words of Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiyah during the 6,000 years. The Holy Throne, it's basically destroyed because the screen of Bina, which is called Kiseh, right, the throne, has been annulled, as it is said, I am in exile, Ani, right? Ani means Malchut in this case, as it mentions. The entire spiritual complex is structured like a ladder, where Malchut of the parzuf that is above becomes, or lowers itself to the keter of the lower one. This is also indicated by the name Malchut, which is called Ani, Aleph Nun Yod, and keter is called Ain, which is Aleph Yod Nun. Okay, so Ani, I, is Aleph Nun Yod, and then the keter, the Ani transforms itself into a keter, which is Ain. Ain means nothing, no, right? Ain is Aleph Yod Nun, with the same letters in different order, because it is completely unattainable. Only that what is attained inside Malchut can be attained, and that's what is called Ani, I, right? Only the Malchut of the upper parzuf can act like a link between the different partzufim in this whole system. The upper one makes a coupling or a connection with its own markut, creates what is called ochoser. Ochoser means, the reflecting light, and this reflecting light is actually considered. Let me go to a graph so you can picture this in a better way. So, or Yashar, it receives the light, right? The Pe is basically where an opening within the Masach. This is what's gonna be, this calculation, which I'm gonna receive only for the sake of the Creator. But it's that is done through the Orhoser. The Orhoser are these light that creates these vessels of bestowal, these vessels that will please the Creator, right? So that's the Orhoser when it says here, and it creates that Orhoser. And when it does that, it receives and closes this upper light within itself. And then Mahut of the upper one descends to the lower Parsuf in the form of this Orhoser. This state of this upper one clothing the lower one is called the exile of the upper one, because this unification, this sivuk with the upper one, or with the upper light, disappears from it, and the upper light disappears from all the other parts of him, and the rivers dried up. The correct screen is called the river, for it causes the upper light, the Ol Elyon, to descend to the lower ones. But now that this screen, this river, right? So we're talking about this right here, the Masach, right? Disappears, the descent of the upper light also disappears. The destruction of the river of the first temple causes the disappearance of the Or Haya. The river of the second temple dries up, and the Or Neshama vanishes along with it. The rivers of the first temple is destroyed because of the Sivuk in Abba Ve'ima is stopped, and the light of Yeshut is exhausted, and the river in the second temple dries up. Remember that we talk about how the partzufim, here the first temple and second temple, right? Abba Ve'ima is considered, the first temple, and then Yeshut is considered the second temple. And this is what it's talking about. And this is because there's a lack of this masach, this intention, right? The source of Or Haya and Neshama is Abba. So the level of Abba is the level of Chokmah, called the Heavenly Father, because he shines in Serampin, called heaven. And he shines in this heaven with the lights that elevate Serampin and Nukba zone to Yesud. So it's Serampin and Nukba here, Serampin and Mahut, get elevated to the level Yesud, by this light. And these are the second temple. And to Avi, which is Abba Ve'ima, which is also the first temple. Now, because the light stops shining from Guf the Atik, all the light descending to all Israel also disappeared. And this is where we have the destruction of the temples, right? So let's go to item 96. Further, he went down and slew the lion. In early days, when these rivers' water flowed downwards, Israel were in a state of perfection because they offered their offerings and sacrifices to atone for their sins and purify their souls. Then, from above, the image of a lion descended. They saw it in the altar, as he crouched in on its prey, consuming it like a mighty man. And all the dogs, that is the prosecutors, hid from it and did not come out to accuse. Um, the fire that consumes the sacrifices in this temple, I resemble what they're called, a lion. Uh, it is said, according to Talmud Yoma 21:2, that they tower over the sacrifices like a lion, and the fire burned these sacrifices laid down by the son of Israel, right? This is a corporeal image that a person see in this world. Like it is a lion trying to eat its prey, right? To catch its prey. Now, the Baal HaSulam says the following. We shall see a higher explanation. And let's detach ourselves from this corporeal image. And we will explain this action of the spiritual world in the language that is supposed to really mean, right? All this language in the Torah, including that describe corporeal images of sacrifices, speak only spiritual actions. This is according to the Baal HaSulam, right? The most precise language for the description of these actions is the language of Kabbalah. But this language is only clear to those who have ascended to the spiritual worlds and see both the roots, meaning the events that transpire in the spiritual worlds, as well as the consequences, which are the actions that happen in the spiritual, not in the spiritual, in the material world. Before the light of Atik disappeared, when the upper light still shone upon Israel like a river rolling its water, Israel was in a state of perfection by the means of these sacrifices. Israel was raising a request, meaning raising the feminine waters, man. They were evoking a sivuk, a union, in their screen, and the masculine waters unified with the feminine waters below, meaning the mad unified with man, the light of abundance came down, descended upon Israel. As a result of this action, Israel was growing closer to the Heavenly Father, and all these impure forces were distanced from Israel, because these sacrifices were purifying the souls. And purification means distancing from impure forces or impure desires. The way a dirty garment is clean from the dirt. This is why the Hebrew word for sacrifice is korban, which means karov. Korban comes from the word karob, which means to come near or be near. The sacrifice signifies a person breaking away from his inner animal egoism for the sake of coming closer to the Creator. This is what brings Israel closer to the Heavenly Father. And because Israel existed in perfection and made this ascending of the feminine waters or prayers to the Creator by this korban, and it was done by the pleasure of pleasuring or giving, let's put it this way, to pleasure the Creator. Their prayers, their sacrifices, their intentions for the sake of the Creator ascended to the level called Bina. The light of Bina is called Or Hasidim, the light of mercy. And in this form, it resembles the image of a lion that is like a property of bestowal called Chesed, mercy. This means that this lion or Bina receives Israel good deeds and good desires, as it was seen how Bina consumes Israel's prayers and korban, or and the Or Hasidim descends from Bina into this Mainuchbin, or man, the prayers, like a lion trying to trap its prey, or eating this prey and devouring it, right? This lion that devours its prey is a principal aspect of the sacrifice, because it signifies that the ascent of these prayers to strengthen the screen and create this Or Hoser. The Or Hoser, remember, is these vessels of Pistor, was working. And because of the greatness of the receive of this Or Yashar, which is the direct light, we go back to the graph so you guys can see the Or Yashar is the direct light, Or Hoser is the reflected light. This is the light received by the Creator. This is the light that we reflect back to the Creator, because these are the vessels of bestowal. The Peh is the light revealed within ourselves. The Or Makif is a surrounding light, which is our potential for perfection, right? So the light devouring is prey. It's the principal aspect of this sacrifice. It signifies, that this screen was strengthened by this Or Hoser. And the magnitude of this direct light, which is the Or Yashar, is determined by the magnitude or the level of that Or Hoser, which create that screen. After that, the existence and growth of this Or Yashar, direct light, is dependent on the Or Hoser. The greater the Or Hoser, the greater the descending or direct light will become. This means that every one of us wants to attain that level of bestowal. When a person evokes a response from above, from the root of his soul, depending on the level of that desire to receive from above, it's the amount or the quantity and the quality of what he's going to receive from above. Just as in our world, in the physical realm, a living being lives is and strength depends on how we eat or what we eat, or if you eat or not. That will mean how healthy you're gonna be. The upper light depends on the light reflected by the screen. When this kind of action stops, meaning there's no more vessels of reception of bestowal, which is the Or Hoser, then the upper light disappears from the partzuf, and the person stops feeling it. That means there's also no revelation. And when there's no light in the vessel, it's like the person is living physically on earth, but is considered a dead person. It's a person that is alive as an animal, but is not alive spiritually. The upper light descends from Bina as Or Yashar, and is called a lion, in the form of bestowal, in accordance to Bina's nature, by giving to the vessel. A man sees, feels, senses how this direct light clothes in Or Hoser. Or Hoser is basically, receiving the light of Chokmah that is clothed in this light of Bina. And when this happens, it's like a person is doing a sacrifice in the temple, and this sacrifice in the temple becomes an intention, which is a masach, kind of like a restriction, in which the person restricts its egoistic desires in order to attain the level of those qualities of Bina, and is considered as the person ascends from his sacrifice, rejects egoism, and the lion is nourished. The lion ate, right? It devours its prey, and therefore it grows as it devours its prey. To the extent that Israel's perfection and their ability to offer this sacrifice, to bestow uh, as this grows, it determines the magnitude of this light from above, this minute being, uh, and the force of which the Orja shards strike that screen comes in, enters the vessel as a direct light, and also as a reveal light, right, within that vessel. And this happen only when a person shows what is called for for fear for sin, fear of sinning. There's a correction called fear. You fear the creator. You fear the creator, and that's why, because you know about the laws and consequences and everything like that. But there's a higher level called that now you're not doing the actions. You're not following the commandments. You're not doing things out of fear for the creator. You're doing it for the love of the creator. But right now, we're talking here about that fear about, because we don't want to sin. We make a restriction. The masach is basically a restriction. Okay, in previous, I don't know how many classes before, but the masach in the vessel, the tabur and the siyum, those are considered marhuyot. Those are endings, right? Those are mahut. A mahut is masach, tabur is a mahut, siyum is a mahut. So these are different three levels in here, that the line needs to go through. Every level has a mahut. Now in the siyum here, that's where we got the most egoistic nature. That's what we need to correct. And that's why we need to use all this system over here, which is a spiritual system, in order to correct that low level over here. Once this is corrected, everything else will manifest at once, like it was mentioned in the lesson before. Now, the height of this orchosert is, if the height, this orchosert, this reflected light, is very high, that will define, or the greatness of this light, how big is this light, that will define how the lion that tears and devour is praised is gonna be, um, so basically it is considered like if we are creating a vessel that is fit for that light. So the more our vessel grows on an altruistic way, the more light is gonna be filled in it. The more it grows egoistically, we're gonna receive light, but it's gonna be a light that is going to destroy the vessel, because the vessel is not fit to receive that light. So this is the difference between a sacrifice, and just basically stealing from nature. That's the selfish way of receiving the light. You're basically stealing from nature, and it's against the laws, spiritual laws. There's cause and consequences. So you receive selfishly, you break the system. You receive in an altruistic way, you will be fixing the system. The impure force, the selfish will to receive pleasure, is called a dog. As it is written, the leech has two daughters who demand, give, give, give. This is from Mishlei 30:15. They bark like a dog and demand to receive and receive and receive. Give me, give me, give me. Because this world and the next, right? Give me now and give me the next one as well. And the higher one ascends, the stronger, the stronger this impure force called klipa becomes. So the more you try to go higher in spirituality, you're gonna find yourself that you're gonna be more, let's put it this way, more tempted to go back. And this is what I mentioned at the end of the previous lesson, in which Kabbalah doesn't promise that you're gonna be happy, that you're gonna have all the money of the world and everything. No, and if somebody's teaching you that, that's a big lie, because sometimes you might want to have a better financial situation. Everybody wants, right? Nobody wants to suffer financially, but that might be part of your correction. So by having money, you're just slowing down your correction or eliminate it or just canceling your correction for this life. So you're gonna have to come back and repeat it yourself, right? So this is why we need to be careful, because that's our internal dog saying, "Give me, give me, give me, give me," right? Give me this word and give me the next word too, because you want the spiritual world, but using Kabbalah for egoistic purposes. You are want to concentrate and meditate in some names of God from the 72 names of God in order to achieve, financial independence and all that kind of stuff. And that's egoistic. That has nothing to do with spirituality. The real meaning of money in Kabbalah is different from what you might think. Real financial freedom has to do with the word kesef, is way different than what some people teach, to use Kabbalah in order to gain material things. It's not like that. Those things will come. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it will not happen if you don't study. If you study Kabbalah, that will not happen. It will happen, but it depends how you're making your sacrifice. Is your sacrifice for the sake of the Creator? Or is the sacrifice for the sake of you just living more comfortable in this world? Because that will happen too, but that will be at the cost of what? Of you coming back and going through the same process again. So think about that. So remember, these impure forces, they bark like a dog and demand to receive both in this world and in the next world. And the more that you want to go higher, the stronger these impure forces that are called klipa will become. And the lion that we're talking here represents mercy and bestowal. It means that it represents unwillingness to receive anything for oneself. It is written in the Ethics of the Father, Abot 95. A righteous, a Hasid, the merciful righteous one says, what yours is yours, and what is mine is yours. So is the impure force, the dog, aimed wholly at reception and has no aspiration to bestow. In Talmud, specifically in Bava Batra 10:2, it says, the righteous among the nations of the world, all their mercy is for themselves alone. This means that they are connected to the impure force of the dog. Under no circumstances should any of these be interpreted, it says, interpreted literally, because it was repeatedly explained. The whole of the Kabbalah speaks only of man's prototype. Israel is an inner inspiration within ourselves to the Creator, and a Gentile, a Goy, signifies egoism, regardless of who you are, where you were born. If you were born, let's say, an American, a Canadian, a person from Iran, Chinese, that means nothing in spirituality. In spirituality, a Gentile is egoism, has nothing to do with race. When it comes to the inner inspiration, which is called Israel, that also is regardless of and also unrelated to where you were born. So a person can be Jewish or cannot be Jewish, but if the person is yearning to connect with the Creator, it is considered Israel. Yashar El. Person that wants to be directly connected to El. Yashar means straight, and El is the name of God. So, related to what was mentioned above, corporeal and spiritual temples, there is no connection between rocks and spiritual objects. It is also unclear to the people that are not initiated in Kabbalah why altruism is the property of a lion, while a dog, which all we know is a really great, awesome, loyal animal, we call it the root of egoism and impurity. It's for this, and it's been said that when Israel was perfect, it was of the property of the lion. Remember the lion of Judah? And all the dogs are basically of egoism. For he gave Mahud the strength to raise the Orhoser, which is the vessels of bestowal, to great heights. This lion devoured its prey like a victor, and the impure forces were considered like a dog. And these impure forces in front of a lion, a dog in front of a lion, would be afraid. So this is why it is considered these impure forces were like dogs that were afraid to come near the lion. And they would hide because of the fear that they had for this lion. Let's go to item 97. The sins caused him to go down the levels and slay the lion, because the lion refused to give up its prey as before. It is as though he killed it. Therefore, assuredly, he slew the lion in the midst of a pit, in front of the eyes of the other evil side. And because the other side saw this, it gained courage and sent a dog to eat the offering above the altar instead of the lion. And what is the name of that lion? Oriel is its name, and he has the face of a lion, or Ariel. And what is the name of that dog? Baladan is its name, because Baladan is formed by the same letters of the word Baal, not, and Adam, man, with the final mem exchanged for Nun. And it is not a human being, but a dog with the face of a dog. So let me make sure. Okay. Let me read this other translation, because I think it's more clear. It says, "Yet when sins increased, he descended to the lower degrees and slew the lion." When it says he, it refers to Benanyahu ben Yohada ben Ishai, Rav Pa'alim Umekapsiel, in whom the degree of Atik of all the lights shines all at once. Due to the disappearance of the screens of Mahut, of Bon, and Binah, Israel below could no longer raise man, meaning make these sacrifices in order to bestow and in order to have this lion nourished, right? The Bina force, right? The life of Hasidim, light of mercy. So this union stopped, and the upper light, which is the lion, disappeared in the roots above. When he says threw it into a pit, the root of the desire to receive for our own sake is in the eyes, as Rashi said, the eye sees and the heart burns with desire. This is from Parsha Shelach. This way to receive for oneself is called empty, waterless pit. This is taken from Bereshit 37:24. The upper light does not feel it. Although it is empty, it is unworthy of being a vessel of the light. This is what in Talmud Sutta 5 says, he and I cannot dwell in the same abode. Right? You cannot be. This is a secret, actually, when it comes to Kabbalah. It comes to the laws of, for example, let's put an example of cheese and meat, which is milk and meat. Why you should not eat them together is because you cannot mix something. They cannot be mixed. They have to be united. And by doing that, you're mixing something. Meat is from the property of death, and milk is from the property of life. Milk gives life, it nourishes, while meat is just dead. It was killed, right? You cannot mix life and death, but you can unite them in a way that death can become a step in order to achieve life. Basically, from down up, instead of coming from up down, you go down from down up. Okay. So the lion was thrown into a pit. It was struck before the eyes of the impure egoistic forces that are called the empty, waterless pit. And now this pit uh, emerges from where it was hidden and reveal its power. In a place of a lion's, instead of a lion now, it appears a barking dog. Then it says, that seramping, which is ma. Let me go to the graph. It'll make more sense. So you have the parsuf after the sinsum aleph, galgalta, ab, sagma, bom. So galgalta is keter, ab is chokma, sag is bina, and ma is seramping, and bon is malchut. So seramping, which is ma, has the numerical value of 45. And this parsuf is called Adam. Why is called Adam? Because Aleph, Dalet, and Mem equals 45, just as this parsuf. Ma is Mem, Hey, which is 45. And it's called Adam when Adam is receiving the light of Bina, right? Bina is Sag. He's receiving the light of Bina in order to bestow it to Bon. The property of Bina is bestowal. This is what is written, man is your name. Adam is your name. This is from Talmud Yevamot 61. Referring to those who attain the property of bestowal, but not the others, who it is said, even their mercy is only for their profit. This is from Baba Batra, Talmud Baba Batra 10.2, and who are therefore called Baladan. Baladan, as we mentioned, these are basically those who are not considered to be human, but are like the face of a dog. Give me in this world and in the world to come as well. Give me now and give me in the world to come. It's all egoistic. So we're gonna finish with this one here. So this is the difference between the lion and the dog is that the lion represents this force that is a response to our prayers, a response to the sacrifices that Israel is doing, to the response to this proper prayer, which is a prayer of an altruistic request, in which we receive the direct light, and then the Orhoser, which is the vessels of reception, grow according to our corrections, and the more they grow, the more Hoser is we're gonna receive, meaning the more lights is going to be revealed, the more of that Or Makif, which is the surrounding light, is going to be also given to us, is gonna be revealed to us. All the potential that we have as human beings and humanity are gonna be revealed within our vessel. Now here, the problem is that now the light stopped because of egoism, and now it's considered like instead of the lion eating the prey, now it's the dog eating the prey, and we're gonna see how is this detrimental, because now is the egoistic desires that are driving the force of these sacrifices of these things. And the Baal HaSulam also mentions, remember that these things have nothing to do with a real lion, with real temples, with anything like that. It's just that they are unrelated. That when we say Israel, we're not mentioning, we're not talking about the physical Israel, which is a political nation, right? It's not even a race. It's not that. Yes, there's Jewish people. There's an Israel, and the roots are in spirituality. But there's also the spiritual Israel, which is people that are born all around the world. They're not race related, right, with Israel in the physical realm. They're spiritually related. They come from the same roots as the people that identify themselves as Israel in the physical realm. And what differentiates them from those that are considered to be physical Israel is that these people were born into the physical realm. People that were called Israel or Jewish people, and the other ones are called nations. But that in spirituality means nothing. In spirituality, Israel is the inner inspirations of a person to connect with the Creator, and a Gentile is a person that is egoistic and want no connection at all. So you can be Jewish, and in spirituality you're considered a Gentile. You can be a Gentile, but in spirituality you may be considered, Israel. So that's the difference in when it comes to Kabbalah. That's how it is understood. The difference between a lion and dog is that the lion is considered, an answer from above due to our correction to our egoistic nature and desires. And then a dog means that we might go through the motions of doing everything religiously, or traditionally as we're being taught, but at the end we're just doing it because we wanna, that uh, egoistic reward, that makes the dog then eat that sacrifice or that effort that we're making to elevate that offering to the level of Binah. And we're gonna leave it there. It's also a teaching that says, that when Israel makes a sacrifice properly, um, these prayers that because today, the prayers are the sacrifices. These prayers, when they're done properly, they're elevated to the higher holy temple in the spiritual realm by the angel Michael, and in there he serves as the holy priest, that presents his offering in our behalf and things like that. So there's a lot of things in Kabbalah you're gonna learn, and from this article, the donkey driver, it has a lot of secrets in it. And once you delve into the depth of this article, you'll understand a lot of the things that you're gonna read in the um, weekly portion. When you read them and you want to see or understand the hidden meaning, Kabbalistic meaning of them. So I'll see you in the next lesson. I hope you have enjoyed this lesson. Like always, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Like I mentioned before, these lessons are free. You don't have to pay anything. The only way you can give something back, you receive this lesson, you receive this like, you have to give back. Right? How you give back? Putting a like, sharing, liking, subscribing, things like that. Asking questions, participating, it's also a way to receive light. Um, not only helps you, it also helps me in the sense, that as the student has a desire to learn, the teacher will receive in order to give that student. So it's a two-way process, not only in spirituality but also in the physical realm. Okay, so I'll see you in the next lesson. Shalom.